On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, we do a quick review of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, things we like, things we thought we could do better, and we also play the dating game with 3 quarterbacks and 3 former head coaches. And Fred is apparently like you're got a photographic memory or something?
Yeah, I am so much.
We also preview the New York Giants, offense and defense, and we do
hell yeah
and hell no.
It all starts right now. Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. And guys, just a reminder, we are People's Choice Podcast Award nominee. There, I got it out.
Yeah, we're still there. We're still in the house.
We're pretty excited to see the results of that survey. So appreciate all your support and thank you for making that possible. However, we're not going to talk about monkeys and gorillas and, hair dye today. We're into
football.
And we're going to talk about Tampa Bay. And so let's get into the review of the Tampa Bay game real quick, because we're reviewing the Tampa Bay game and we're previewing the New York game all in the same shot. So it'll be a good opportunity for us. Yep. And I guess I'll start with Tana. Mm-hmm. High-level thoughts on the game. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball.
I saw some good things.
Yeah.
It was very encouraging just to see the quarterback himself. You know what I mean? I kind of gauge everything offensively off of what we have at the helm, who we have leading us. Mm-hmm. And I saw him get in danger a couple of times. He found his way out of it. I saw at times when he had a pocket, he got rid of the ball on time. So that's encouraging the most, Will things get better week after week? I do believe so. I think, you went up against a playoff caliber defense, a defense that we kind of had questions going into the game with. And if you found yourself with a field goal or 2 made that we missed and a couple of those sacks that we missed in them situations, I feel like we would have had a chance to really, get at them a little more. But I was encouraged, to say the least.
Offensive, I thought a little bit of spoon feeding JD.
Okay.
I don't.
What do you mean by that?
I think they went down there with a game plan to protect him from himself. Uh-huh. All right, and while doing that, I think it kind of slowed the game down a little bit. But also, I looked at who we was going against. This was legit playoff defense, a Pro Bowler on every level, starting with Vita, ending with Antoine Winfield Jr. Mm-hmm. We seen a new team, going against a team that been together for 4 or 5 years. That continuity that they had far as the Tampa Bay. I even seen the DB conversation that I would see during the game compared to ours is you can see our guys are so new with each other. They still trying to figure out what, how, and when with each other, where these guys know what's up. Like, I know what he like. I know what he going to fit. I know what he going to be. So it was a game of continuity versus new. And you've seen the continuity prevail as the game went on.
Yeah, I think, we talked about it a little bit in the preview show, how important it was that we didn't show anything in the preseason, the Washington Commanders offensively. But I think it's also important to remind you that, we didn't get any scouted looks of Todd Bowles' pressure package. Yeah. And how challenging that was going to be for Jaden Daniels. And I felt like, kind of to Tana's point, there was a lot of good things that Jaden did, but I also felt like he was aware from a very early on. Like, he got a little bit of pressure early. Yeah. And I felt like he was just, rocketing through his progressions. Yeah. And as opposed to, Tana, with a good offense and, a quarterback that's established and comfortable and confident, which is the goal of every offense. Yeah. There's a patience and an understanding of hey, this comeback's not open right now. Yeah. But I'm going to get to the top of my drop. I'm going to take a hitch. I'm going to throw to a spot. Yeah. And the ball is going to be there. Yeah. And I thought we've seen a lot of that from him in practice, and I felt like he was a little bit jittery. You know what I'm saying? And it's his first NFL game.
It should be.
Against a defense that I thought played really well and brought pressure really well. And, got to give credit to that group. Yaya Diaby, I thought was a problem.
Was everywhere. Yeah.
Vita Vea was a problem. The stunts and the blitzing up front was also very problematic. But I think got to give credit to Tampa Bay. Yeah. I think, again, and Jaden did some good things. He was able to get out of some pressure. He was able to make some plays. But I think I'm really excited to preview the Giants.
I think they ran more stunts than they did actually blitzing to me.
But I saw a lot of guys also offensive line wise winning their man-to-man battles. Yep. That was impressive. I mean, we know how that was, from years before where you just getting beat, every time, and that was impressive to me, just seeing him have time like that at times. And those are the times when they wasn't pressuring them, but still, I've seen guys on the offensive line, from years before that just couldn't win their battles.
And one thing I can say I am impressed with, to take a rookie quarterback on the road versus a playoff team, and he lead that game clean with no turnovers. I thought that was If I give an A for anything,
that was
I give an A for him being clean that whole game. Because usually a rookie's first game, they giving the ball to the other team.
Yeah, but I do think, while there was some good things, the protection, there was some good things by the receivers too. There's a little bit of growing, and I think that's not necessarily like a criticism of anybody. I just think back to first year offenses that I've been a part of. It just takes time to kind of
takes a lot of time,
understand the timing with the receiver, how they're going to run certain routes. And again, everyone's like, oh, they had off-season training camp. I remember talking to Kyle Shanahan, and he was like, it takes 3 years
to install
an offense completely. That's the timing, that's the motions. And people say, what do you mean? I know as a tight end, my motion's a little different if it's a run and a pass. And it's different if it's this run versus this run. And so that takes time to understand that level of nuance. And I think there was a little bit of that going on. And then Freddie, I think again, it's a great point. Like, it's a tough week 1 matchup versus a playoff caliber defense. So I think keeping that context in mind is super important. And 10, because you're a receiver, we got to ask you about it. What'd you think of the receiving group? I know the fans have been making a lot of noise about that group, if they're understaffed or whatever. I didn't necessarily see that, but I wanted to get your thought on it.
No, I would have loved to see more, just us taking chances. But I mean, this is something that we talked about. The kid saw things that he didn't like, and he didn't go out there and just fling the ball out to him. You know what I mean? To me, that was great. I saw times when he took his shots, he took them. And one went out of bounds. He overthrew Terry I think once, and he threw a hitch to Zacchaeus that the ref could have clearly called a PI, and they didn't do that. He took his chances when he saw him, and like I say, man, when it's week 1, and like you just alluded to, having a new offense, I've been a part of too many new offenses. Bro, no matter how long you played in this game, when that new offense hurts everybody. Everybody has to get out
take
there.
A step back.
That's one of the reasons why I said last week or all the weeks before, y'all made fun of it. I don't have expectations because I know how rough it gets when you're trying to get through these growing pains. So I'm just looking forward, like I said before the game, I'm looking forward just to seeing them become a team. And it's going to take time for us to see that.
Well, that's what the fan base got to understand. Patience, man. This is a rookie quarterback.
Rookie quarterback in a new offense with a new head coach,
new GM. Everything.
Too many new.
It just ain't going to snap your fingers and all of a sudden. I'm going to tell you something. C.J. Stroud has ruined it for rookie quarterbacks. Because now everybody wants their rookie to be this instant rice. It's just not going to happen. That ain't the way it is. He's the anomaly. He's the glitch in the matrix. All right? That don't happen. All right? So put it like this. Jay Daniels will be 10 times better in week 10 than he is right now. But from week 1 to week 10, it's going to be some up and downs, baby. That boat going to rock.
It happens.
And I was going to say, after watching the film, one of the things I came out with, I was really optimistic. Because I was like, this is so good for him. To see these different coverages, to see these different alignments, and kind of put that in the CPU and be like, I can be more patient here. I can be more aggressive with this throw. Or I don't need to scramble. I don't need to vacate this pocket. Or if I have a smaller movement, I can still complete this football. And I thought, just the way he's handled the learning process so far, I found to be really encouraging. And the other thing I want to touch on real quick before we move on to defense is the running backs. I think we got to give those guys a shout out. I think
we got a good group back there.
B-Rob could have easily had about 3 touchdowns. I mean, he ran hard.
Hey, listen, this is what I love about B-Rob. Now, as a cornerback, I love that I'm not playing, but he leaves bodies in his wake. I watched 3 people get walked to the locker room after colliding with this guy. All right? He is literally taking souls out there. All right? And if you do that, man, second quarter, third quarter, it just start to bend us to the wheel. And I think we should have ran the ball, but once you're behind, now you got to pass the ball and do what you got to do.
That's one thing that I also made me optimistic after watching the film. You just made me think of it with running the ball. Is one of the things that I loved, I think it was in the third quarter, it was the second drive of the third quarter, they ran the ball effectively. They were 5 yards a clip, completion to Terry, another nice 5-yard run, and they were able to get in a rhythm offensively, and it slowed down Tampa Bay. It stopped them from calling what they wanted to call. They got super fatigued, and that tempo, what we saw in the preseason, really quieted them. And so on that drive, that's the drive the ball gets completed to B-Rob, and there's not a soul in sight because that defense is gassed. And I'm just like, man, if they can get those first 3 or 4 plays going, stay on rhythm offensively, not getting a third and long, they're going to be a problem, man.
Yeah.
Well, also defense didn't help them stay in rhythm.
Yeah.
Special teams show didn't help them stay in rhythm.
Yeah.
You're talking about 10 minutes and 48 seconds. That's how much we had the ball in the first half.
Yeah.
21 plays.
bad.
You can't get in a rhythm like that.
It's so funny. That's defense, but offensively, I'm like, man, we got to be better converting. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be more efficient. And again, there was mistakes. There was the fumblers, penalties, all that kind of stuff. But that flash on that B-Rob touchdown, I was like, this could be awesome. But we got to keep that rhythm early, so we can get into that stuff we want to get into.
I was just impressed too. Also, I mean, and I'm gonna let you go and move on. Just some of the things that we said he's going to bring. You know, you're going to have your antennas up defensively wise. It's just him opposing that I can run this thing anytime I want to. You see what I'm saying?
Oh no!
So by him putting that on tape, teams come to the game now like we don't know. So that's gonna enhance B-Rob and Eckler now because they're gonna get those holes where that linebacker paused or he hesitated because he wasn't sure if he's gonna hand that ball off.
It makes defense less aggressive and more conservative when you have a running quarterback.
And I think that's the other thing that's kind of encouraging is like we were not overly efficient offensively, and he was not overly efficient, but like we were still
moving the ball,
football, moving the ball because of his athleticism and playmaking ability. So that's all. That's again, that's a growing, developing group, and I can't wait to see what that looks like.
And I love the fact that they put these RPOs on film. That will slow pass rush. That will slow these defensive ends from crashing in on the run plays, and it'll slow the pass rush. So I love that they put that in, especially considering that this week we're going against the New York Giants with Thibodeau on one side and Brian Burns on the other one. That RPO makes them stay at home.
Because we know them some bad boys.
Yeah, they can rush, but I'm sorry. When you run those RPOs, that's when your defense coordinator tell you, now you rush, we feathering rushing. We rushing up the field, and I want you to stop.
Yeah, you got to stop.
Yeah, so that's obvious. That's the offense. A lot of room for improvement, but I think we're all really excited. How about the defensive side of the ball, Fred? What do you think?
You know what? I was kind of disappointed in that. Third down is the magic down. And we let Baker Mayfield kill us with 1,000 paper cuts. It wasn't the big plays I was worried about. When you got Mac Evans on the field, it's going to be big plays. He's shown that for 10 consecutive years. Big plays will happen. But Chris Godwin, like when I was watching the game in the first half, I was like, all right, and one thing I know about Chris Godwin, he don't like to get jammed. Like that. That's why they keep him in the slot. Anytime he was getting the ball, they would move him across the formation. They make sure, one, he's in motion, and they make sure he's off the ball. That would have been my signal to my defensive backs. Anytime this dude is off the ball and he moving, he getting the rock. And they're going to do it to him quick. I just thought we should have picked up on that faster and translated that to each other because he was keeping the chains moving. Now Mike Evans was the big play, but
the big play.
The drive, keeping them moving, that was all Baker and Chris Godwin and White. All right, that's how they kept the ball moving. So now I think, and I'm gonna give my guys these props. It was their first time playing a game together. And they look like it. They look like, all right, we still got to figure each other out. Luvu, I still got to figure out where you want to be if I'm Bobby Wagner, vice versa. So I just thought it was a little bit confusion, but also I could tell the newness of it.
And also, like, to that point, Fred, like, one of the things I came out of that game super impressed with Liam Cohen's offense. Like, super impressed. The way they move, the formation.
They had so many man beaters. They was bunching them and just showing you, like, you going to play man? Okay. I got something.
But also, the checks, too. Like, there's times on the sideline where you could hear Baker identify man. And we're checking the concept. And it just, to me, like, that's an offense that's, again, much like the defense that's played together for a while. They had a lot of answers. And then when they didn't have the answer, Baker was able to escape pressure and make plays.
When did Baker turn to Steve Young?
Well, that boy,
like
Tom
he decided
Brady.
to turn.
Tom Brady's son.
His footwork in that pocket was
much
immaculate. All right, his footwork and him never giving up on the play. That's what changed their game. That's what broke our back. Like the one thing that we hate as a defense is a quarterback to scramble and get 5 yards and send us back to first down. It's demoralizing.
We had him dead to rights a few times, man. And I think, speaking of demoralizing, it hurt us badly because you can see that we just had them. And that would have hurt them. That would have hurt them. It would have been a big change. You know what I'm saying? So I look at the game from so many different aspects of, like I said, even with all that being said, we was right there. I feel like we was still in the thick of things, and later in the game it got out of hand a little bit, but it felt like unless we just laid down, they wasn't going to just run over us.
We did not. We did not
at
quit.
all.
We did not quit, and that's what I love. We fought to the end, and that says a lot to me because I've seen teams that quit before.
Yeah, and I think if you're looking for positives, I think the pass rush was significantly better. Obviously, they got a finish. Like that's a big.
I thought Jamin Davis flashed.
Yeah, he only had like 14 snaps. But he had 2 TFLs.
But he
made some
flashed.
plays. Yeah. So that's encouraging and exciting. Also, if London Fletcher on the broadcast, he's such a smart football guy, was like, the DBs aren't playing the right leverages given the situation. So I think that kind of is another thing that shows up is the newness of the defense. Like you can rep, and I think that's the other thing I just want to call attention to. These are all unscouted looks for the defense in terms of what Tampa Bay's offense was doing.
Yeah.
And I've never played defense, but I would imagine that's impossible, especially with an offense that's that nuanced.
But that's when you got to go back on your basic rules. Cover 4, I'm always be outside. Cover 3.
Do you think that that's harder for young players to do?
I think it's harder for players that ain't been in the situations before.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think it is. So that's just like
because you, I remember you've talked about like when you were playing, it was like you and Sean and Springs and all these guys that were experienced. And you guys in the game could be like, hey man, we're getting this more than we thought.
Yeah,
let's adjust.
We're
this.
gonna play box this.
But like I look at the guys that were out there, Forbes second year player,
Sanders first year, that was his first reps.
Quan second year player, right? Like it's young people working together,
and they go where reps. Like I'm sorry for them to get better at it, they have to see these situations, and they have to get beat. I hate to say it, they have to get beat on those situations.
And that's kind of how I feel about Jaden too. It's like the more reps, these guys who are conscientious, like they're conscientious, diligent workers, right? Yeah. Quan, Sanders still, like, Jaden, all these guys are going to work at it. And I just think about like when I was a rookie and how bad I was, and the more games I played, the better I got. Because you say, when he's a 6 technique, he's got a pinch, so I can attack this way. You know what I'm saying? And I just think I'm excited for this group that this is the first matchup. Because I think they're going to be able to learn a lot.
Yeah, I'm hyped about Sanders Steele, but I think Sanders Steele got his first taste of this NFL is fast. Like I think it caught him off guard. Like, oh my God, it's very fast. Like decisions are being made in microseconds, and I think it took him a quarter to catch up with that speed.
But he didn't look bad at all. I mean, I couldn't, like, if you didn't know he was a rookie, you wouldn't know, because he was in the thick of things. I saw a guy making tackles up in the line of scrimmage, so you know what I mean. You can see the flashes of a guy that he gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we're saying. It's like it's exciting because he played well. But there's these issues where it's like they only get them from experience. And so I just think about the whole defense, and the more experience they get, the more opportunities they get, the more. Because I pull clips for Coach's Show for breakdowns and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is a good play. This is a good play. Yeah. And then you get to that third down, you're like,
what happened?
Good. Look at this. Look at this fit. Look at this tackle. Whatever. And then
I want the DBs to get to a point where they just truly understand give and take.
Yeah.
At all points as a DB, I'm gonna give something and I'm gonna take something away. I think they're trying to take everything away. You can't. It's impossible. You cannot stop the entire route tree.
So, sorry,
Go ahead.
I was on the sideline, and I'm walking by the bench, and the DB coach, like he's yelling and he's excited, and he's like, you don't have to do everything.
Yes.
Do what I'm telling you to do.
That's it.
Like, trust us.
Yes.
And I think there's something about that as a player that takes some time to learn, but it's very liberating. Yeah. And it was cool to hear him say that. Like, we know that you're not going to be able to cover it all.
You can't stop the
Take
whole
away
tree.
what we're telling you to take away.
Yes.
And I was like, that's refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
Because last year
it would have been like you survive yourself. Every man for himself.
But the one thing about it though is what I was telling the fans is like they get a chance to play together for the first time. That's what I was more excited about.
Yeah.
Coming to that week 1 experience is what are you gonna take from this? They get a chance to play. Now they put stuff on film and now they can go correct that. Because me and London, we going to have some need after the game, and I immediately as an offensive guy I'm like, bro. I saw one guy come up when the guy was already there, and the other guy should have just stayed back. And London was like, that's something that they're going to be able to see and say, I'm going to correct that. I don't have to worry about going and get that man.
Yes.
Because now I just confused the guy who was already up, which he should have just stayed up and got that guy, which he thought to.
Press the point.
And, you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that tells you that when they tighten this stuff up, then you won't see some of those big plays that we saw last week.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I think we're disappointed with the result, but I think we're excited for the opportunity. And I think it's week 1. There's a lot of football left to be played. And you know what? I think Jason, our producer, has a really fun game to help illustrate this point. Yeah. It's called The Dating Game, and there's going to be music, and we're going to dance around. It's going to be really exciting. And basically, what's the point of this, Jason?
So you guys remember the dating game, right?
Yeah, we do. We old guys.
Right, you would sit down. There'd be 3 bachelors.
Yeah.
Bachelor number 1.
And the
exactly.
dude used to kiss everybody that come up. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, the host.
Yeah, he kissed like half of America. He did.
That was problematic, but at the time. So what you'll ask, what we have here is we have 3 head coaches here. And what we're going to do is you're going to ask these head coaches some questions. Each one of you can ask a question, and you're going to pick which one you want. And then I'm going to tell you the name of that coach.
All right.
Okay, so here's the caveat with all these head coaches. These are all head coaches. I'm going to give you some stats. You can ask questions about their first year with a new team.
Okay.
That's what we have here.
First year coaches.
First year with a new team.
All right.
So they may have been a head coach before. They may not have.
Yeah.
But this is how they started their first year with that new team.
So coach number 1.
Coach number 1. Let's have a question for coach number 1. Who wants to go first?
I
Fred,
do
you
it.
wanna go?
I got you. Let's go. Who you got? You want me to ask a question?
Yeah, you ask a question.
All right.
Because we're all dating this one.
This one
We're
coach.
trying to
We're
figure
trying to
out.
figure out
Yeah.
which one you want to
Yeah.
go on a date with.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Who do we want to run our
Yeah,
franchise?
so ask a question to coach number 1. I'll tell you.
You're gonna ask some crazy question like, "Do you have hair? Are you handsome?
No.
Do you have
no,
quarterback
no.
face?
No.
What,
Is this coach spiritual?
what are you
doing?
No. Okay, I'll ask the
We're
question.
not trying to guess who the coach is.
I'll ask you. How did your first year as a head coach go? Was it
there you go.
successful? Did you win a lot of games?
I don't know if you would say it's successful because
what was your record?
well, we started 0-5.
Oh, dang. That's
There
not
was
good.
talks about me being fired in the press,
Oh wow.
and my first half of the season, 1-7.
Okay.
Sound like Marty Schottenheimer, but
Not great.
1-7.
Great.
Okay.
1-7.
And all these guys went on to be successful afterwards.
yeah.
Oh.
Not all of them.
Maybe that's a question.
Not
to
all of them.
ask.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask the
want-
second one.
All right. You want to ask coach number 2, or you want to ask coach number 1 a second question?
I'm just gonna ask a question.
No,
Okay.
because we got to direct it to one.
Oh,
Of
okay.
the
I'm
coaches.
gonna ask coach number 2.
Okay, coach number 2.
Coach number 2. Are you a household name?
Oh yes.
Oh,
Oh yes, coach number 2. They know me out there.
No.
is Coach
Coach
1 a
number-
household name too?
Yes.
All right,
We are
household
both household
famous.
names.
Hey.
Coach 3 over here wondering what's going on. You know, no questions for Coach 3?
Hey, Coach 3, have you ever made the playoffs?
No.
Oh. That's a great question, Fred. Have the other coaches made the playoffs? Do I have to ask them individually or what?
Yeah,
No,
you had to ask
no,
him
you know
individually.
what? Coach 1, I've made the playoffs. In fact, guys, I've won a Super Bowl.
Dang.
Coach
and you had a bad start, huh?
Yeah, coach number 2.
I already know who he is.
Coach number 2. I've won a lot of playoff games.
Oh.
And I've won a lot of Super Bowls.
I got a question for Coach 2.
Yeah.
How did you start out in your new spot? Like your first year, were you successful?
Kind of like Coach 1, a little better. I was 0-4
Oh.
in my second team. So I've been a head coach before. This is my first year with my second team, and I started 0-4. So there was some questions about whether or not we hired the right guy.
Really?
Yeah, and I went 2-10 to start the season.
Coach 2.
Wasn't great.
Are you part of an evil empire?
What?
Some say that.
Okay.
Evil Empire.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that question?
What coach is known as being part of the evil empire that lasted decades?
Bill Belichick?
Thank you.
He started what did you say?
Bill Belichick in 2000 with the Pats, that was his first year head coach with them, started 2-10.
I bet you people were like, we screwed this up.
That's fine. Coach 1 is Joe Gibbs.
The Joseph.
0-5. Oh, Joe, huh?
0-5, 1-7 here
Joe.
in 1981 with the Redskins. There were media calling for his job.
How'd you know that, by the
guys
way?
know what he did.
I know everything.
No, you looked at the sheet.
Well,
didn't
if you listen to Hail Tales, our podcast, we have an episode all about the first year with Joe Gibbs, his hiring here.
The Joseph.
And how he turned that around. It was a tough start, but he turned it around.
So-
3 Super Bowls.
That's pretty unique.
Coach 3 doesn't sound like they're very good.
Well, Coach 3, I don't know about these guys over here.
Let me ask you this before you say this.
Yeah.
What's Coach 3 good at post-game speeches?
Well, I don't know.
That wasn't in the research notes.
No,
for
let me
Coach
ask
3?
Coach
Is that
3
what I
something.
remember?
Yeah.
Was it your first time being a head coach?
It was my very first time being a head coach. I went 4-1 and 6-2.
4-1 and 6-2.
Yeah.
Were you hired to
4-1
be a head coach, or were you
6-2?
hired for another job? And you just ended up being a head coach.
I might have fell into the head coach.
How do you fall into a head coaching job?
Because he was hired as a offensive coordinator, then we couldn't find a head coach, and they made him a head coach.
Is that Zorn?
I'm Jim Zorn. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Jim Zorn was hired.
As an OC.
We had no coach staff. The whole coach staff got fired. Then they were like, you know what? We got to snag this OC. Before we get a head coach, they got Jim Zorn as an OC. And once people understood that he was going to be the OC, they were like, nah, I don't want to be the head coach.
Yeah.
So then he was promoted to head coach.
Wow.
Hot start.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Hot
surprising.
start.
I mean, I think that's a good example. You know, sometimes greatness takes a little bit of time. Like when I was with San Francisco, now they're like the best team in football.
Yeah.
Our first year we were like 5-11 or something like that.
It's called building.
Yeah.
Like that's how you build. You start with the foundation
Dude,
first.
get this. When I was in San Fran, they were calling for Kyle Shanahan to be fired in his second year.
Yeah.
It's hard being a coach.
And now it's like, that's an insane thing to say.
Yeah.
Because he's been to 3 Super Bowls or whatever. Like, I can't even imagine.
Hey, think about it. Philadelphia ran Andy Reid out of there after going to the playoff 10 consecutive
crazy
years.
is that?
Yeah, like it's hard to be a coach. I give coach their props.
Yeah.
No, actually, I give the wives of coaches their props to never see your spouse.
Oh, yeah.
All right, to have to get up and move
Yeah.
every other year. I give them props.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the
tough
point
job.
is we're not saying DQ is a Hall of Fame coach that's going to win us
Yet.
Super Bowls. We're not saying that that's going to happen, but the first game of
Give
your
some time.
first year with a new team does not indicate the
Yeah.
success of your career here.
Our fan base is dealing with this PTSD.
Yeah.
Dude, you nailed that.
Thank you.
You see how he was like, where do the letters go?
Yeah, they're dealing with this because I have to talk to them after the game. So
Dude,
I get
was
a true
gonna
feel.
ask you. I told you my mom and dad listened to your post game.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's got a tough gig.
Listen, they are just losing.
Did the cat man call you?
He did not this week, but I know he'll be here this week. He loves the Giants game.
Are you blocking him or no?
No, I'm not.
You're
listen,
welcome.
He can call, and I talk to his cat. Listen,
So if you don't know, for all of you guys who listen to the podcast and maybe not the radio, there's a gentleman who calls as a cat,
As a cat.
named Skippy.
and he pretends.
No. His cat talks.
Right.
Yeah.
So he calls in, and then then he'll be like,
and then he
Yeah, then he'll ask his cat,
He
like,
has a talking cat.
Yeah, Skippy. Then I'll be like, am I crazy? Because I'm having this conversation with this cat.
You damn sure talk back to it. I done listened a couple of times. Like,
So I entertain him. He's fun.
check out the post game for Skippy coming in.
Yeah.
most definitely.
So we
right,
also got another round of
Yeah, do you want to do another round with quarterbacks? We don't have to. Did you
Yeah.
like that? Was
I do
that
like. I kind of want to see. I'm curious what you picked. So we get 3 quarterbacks again.
We have 3 quarterbacks here. The head coaches are going 3 quarterbacks.
Can we
Yeah,
ask?
I only have so much research, guys. So
Can we
please
ask one question?
Don't ask me locker room questions.
Can we ask one question and have all 3 answer?
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
All right. So my first question is: are you in the Hall of Fame?
All 3 would answer no.
oh, man.
All right. This is harder now.
All right, so
Not yet.
that don't mean
Okay.
they ain't good quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well,
they
we'll
just didn't go to the Hall of Fame.
We'll find out now. Let me ask that same. Can I ask that same one?
Ask all of them,
Would you be rated?
Rated?
Yeah. So like my from this last week, you talking about because we all played this last week.
Huh?
all the quarterbacks played.
All 3 of
Yeah.
us played.
Oh, right now.
So you're
okay.
asking for a quarterback
Yeah,
rating.
quarterback
Yeah.
rating.
Yeah, quarterback rating. Yeah, sure. Quarterback 1. I had a rating of 55.7.
Your name is Caleb Williams.
Quarterback 2.
How'd you know that?
Quarterback
I
2.
know everything.
I had a rating of 93.1.
Your name is Jaden Daniels.
And quarterback 3, I had a rating of 47.5.
Your name is Bo Nix.
Did he get it right?
Yes, that's right.
Get out of here, man. Hey, get Fred ass out of here.
Fred does his research. Don't sleep on Fred.
Did you look at the paper? Be honest,
No,
Fred.
no.
All I need to
didn't-
do is
I-
watch it.
I
I need to
kept-
watch stats one time, and I'm going to remember.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is, man.
Yeah.
That shit's scary.
That's not a bad outing for Jay.
just
What'd you
for
say,
our fan-
90 what?
93.1. Now, quarterback ratings, I don't understand
Yeah.
them. They're pretty convoluted.
Well,
but
Bo Nix went down because of those 2 picks.
well, let me give you the
also-
full stat
And
lines.
Caleb only threw for 93 yards.
But also, he threw it 35 times for like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
Let me
You
give
got
you
the
their
stats.
full stat lines because our fans may not have seen it,
Yeah.
right? So I'll
Yeah.
give it real quick. So Caleb Williams went 14 for 19 for 93 yards.
Yeah.
Didn't get 100. He didn't have any touchdowns, but no interceptions.
Isn't he? I saw a stat. He's the only quarterback in history
to have 93 yards and win a game.
to win a game.
Yeah, most definitely. But that's the Bears. Like, that's how the Bears been winning for 30 years, man. Like, interception to the house and a special team touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what the Bears do.
Well, Bo Nix threw it a few more times. He threw it 42 times.
And
he completed 26 of them, had in 42 attempts, 138 yards.
that's like hard to do.
First of all, that's averaging 5 yards a throw.
That's like a good running game.
They were throwing slip screens.
No touchdown throws, 2 interceptions. He rushed for 35 yards. I don't know.
That's pretty good.
And he had a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
But
That's a tough outing.
Yeah.
It's his first game. He might
Yeah.
be 33 years old, but it's his first game.
And our fans know Jaden, but I'll just run through it real quick. He went 17 for 24, 184 yards.
Yep.
No touchdowns or interceptions in the air.
2
but
tubs.
88 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not a bad stat line.
No, it's good. Good stat line. You got it in the zone.
Nix and Daniels lost a game. Williams won it. I mean,
It's week one.
it's the first game
Put it like
of these
this.
guys' career.
If
Win,
you got
loss,
one of these
may not
rookies,
matter.
we all won in week 1.
Yeah.
All right? Because your guy got out there on the field and they got to troubleshoot. We all won.
Yeah, I always think back to the Peyton Manning deal.
Yeah.
You know, like he threw all those picks.
Bro.
Like
28?
that's a lot of picks.
I mean,
Andrew Luck his first year. Trevor Lawrence his first year. Like
Man,
dudes
listen,
have a hard time.
that's why I say C.J. Stroud has ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has ruined it. Now everybody like
Can
him.
you name another rookie quarterback who came in and played well year one?
Ben Roethlisberger.
But he was a passenger to that team though.
Well, you said play well.
That's a great answer.
RG3.
Great answer.
Yeah, he
It's a rookie of the
bombed
year.
it. I'm talking about DC ain't know what to do. You hear me?
Brock Purdy. That's a good one. All right. So that's I think that just is kind of to illuminate that it's week one. And we should calm down a little bit. All of us.
Pump your brakes.
Us included.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's preview the New York Giants. And I guess we're going to start with the offense. And my question to you is, does the offense make you feel good or does it give you the ick?
Talking about the Giants
The
offense?
Giants offense.
It gives me the ickolitis. Listen, I am breaking out in bumps and everything.
And I will say it is week one for them too, but
But it's week 1 with the same quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
you should not look like us. Like, you should not look like your quarterback played his first game last Sunday.
it's year 6 for him.
Listen, Danny. Maybe this is what he need because every time he play us, he's
I'm
Mike
just saying,
Vick.
I'm just saying, be careful what you say.
I'm
Be
just
careful
saying.
what you say, because
But I'm just saying.
He's going to listen to this.
We
when
got
I,
different-
when
we
I
got different
watch
team,
him,
though.
I see somebody very similar to Deshaun Watson that just has no confidence in themselves right now.
That's a good point.
And I just can't believe that we gonna give him that confidence.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that works for him, and I think Dable and all those guys know it with him, is he has to get outside the pocket and make some plays, unscheduled plays. I think that's every time I've watched this guy, especially play against us, we would have everything all bottled up, and then it's on a third down where he gets pressured and boop, he sneaks out, and now it's a
For
first
70
down.
yards.
And he did it over and over and over and over. And he's been doing that for the last four years, I feel like. So just be careful when it comes to talking about him this week. I don't want to talk nothing.
Well, he stink against 31 other teams.
Yeah,
All right, we
but
know this.
he's our
All right?
kryptonite.
I just think if you're a DB, this is your week.
Yeah.
Like, we have games where we think
So
that.
how long have we been doing this show, Jason? A year now, right? 2 years? Yeah, we've done like 100 episodes. Is that right?
We're coming up on the 100th episode. We're getting
Yeah,
pretty close.
and I feel like Fred, every time we play New York, says this exact same thing. It's like almost
over-
like we
and I'm
should
over
cut
here
it
telling them, chill
and
out.
see if it's word for word.
Pump your brakes.
I don't believe in Daniel Jones. And listen, as a defensive back, just like wide receivers, you know when you get the schedule that year, and you looking and you know who on the other teams, and you're like, all right, here go the game. I got to still win this game. I need to get one this game. If I'm a DB, I'm standing up in the room this week, fellas.
I got one.
We got Daniel Jones this week. let's go get the confidence back from our fan base. All right, we got Daniel Jones. Let's not let him get hot.
Yeah.
Let's not let him start to believe. Let's go out here, press the hell out of these wide receivers and make it hard for Daniel Jones.
I will say, watching the Week 1 game with the All-22, one of the things that stuck out to me is how flat the offense is. Does that make sense? Like, there's no, they're very reluctant to push the ball down the field. Very reluctant. And so when Minnesota's playing them, like, they're in the game. It wasn't like a blowout from the jump.
At all.
And they're so conservative. And then if you're going underneath routes, think like old school New Orleans. Like, the timing has to be impeccable. Impeccable, and the spacing has to be impeccable. And they're just not there yet.
Yeah.
And I do think they have guys that can make plays down the field, but it's very flat. It's not super dynamic. They can't really run the ball super effectively. Their O-line is new, but and I think they need to give them more confidence, but it didn't inspire a lot of confidence in the offense.
Well, just know this. We put stuff on tape that was bad, defensively wise.
Yep.
And you know what they say, it's a copycat league.
Yep, 100%.
So better believe if they ain't throw down the field last week, they throwing down the field this week. And that's it's our fault. But at the same time, I do believe, like I said before, our guys should be able to clean up a lot of that stuff that they did wrong.
Yeah, they can clean that up.
It's a lot that they can clean up. But trust me, if you saw something that was vanilla this week, week 1, it ain't gonna look vanilla week 2. They gonna try to go out there and do a little better, because you gotta think about it. Daywall, he understand how far he can go with that quarterback, and he understand who he plays well against. Yeah. And so regardless of if it's a new team, when it comes to new defense, new everything, he know Daniels, for some odd reason, he gets up when he see that burger in on goal. So
luckily FedEx Field ain't named FedEx no more. That's where he killed us at. So maybe the Fed House will treat him a little bit worse than FedEx Field did. It's just new everything. Like, we got to wipe away this Daniel Jones stench. Yeah. Like, we got to wipe it away, fellas. I'm sorry.
So my next question is there anybody offensively for them that scares you?
I say Neighbors.
Yeah.
Neighbors and the kid that was there last year.
I can't say Neighbors because Daniel Jones throwing them the ball.
Yeah, but, bro.
Hyatt, Jalen Hyatt's out there. And then their receiver, Jalen, is the other guy. Jalen Hyatt's the guy. And let me get the other name real quick, but keep talking. Go ahead. He doesn't scare you.
No, I'm just saying, like, everybody always asks me, Smoot, who is the harder wide receiver to check? And I always say whoever got the best quarterback. Like, so it's just one of those things where I believe an average wide receiver can give you that work with a great quarterback. I just do. But I think a great wide receiver can't give me no work with a terrible quarterback. It ain't a such thing. So what I'm saying is, I ain't scared of Malik Neighbors because I ain't scared of Daniel Jones. So at the end of the day, let's not let Daniel Jones get started so Malik Neighbors never gets going. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the other guy that I think is pretty good for them is Wan'Dale Robinson, the little slot guy.
Oh, from Kentucky.
Yeah, he can
play. He run out the catch guy.
To your point, like, I think about the Tampa Bay game, just not to revisit it, and like, Benjamin St. Juice locking, like, in a battle with Mike Evans, and they get that fade ball. Yeah. A worse quarterback doesn't complete that.
No, they don't.
Because the window's too small.
It's small.
And so that's what you're running into with Malik Neighbors, Robinson, all these receivers there that are talented. Yeah. It's Daniel Jones in the first game did not look very confident. Looked anti-confident. Was holding the ball too long, was taking sacks he shouldn't take, was incurring pressure when he shouldn't have, was not accurate with the football. Yeah. And again, it's week 1, and this is what I always tell people. I always remind people this. They are professional football players.
Everybody.
They go back, they watch the film, and he says, I need to be better. You better believe Brian Daboll says, I need to be better. So there will be an uptick. They're going to do more stuff. It's just, to Fred's point, like, if the quarterback is not confident, if you can keep him not confident,
you're going to win that game.
You're going to win that game.
But then, too, also, if you think about last year when we played those guys in New York, what they did a lot of, not DeVito. This was, I think it was DeVito.
In the first game, it was Tyrod Taylor.
It was Tyrod Taylor. You're right. He got hurt, and then DeVito came in. But they threw a lot of balls up that didn't get completed. And guess what happened? Pass interference. So they was getting those yardage just by saying, let's make an attempt to get the ball down the field. So that's one of the things, when you have a defense that's new and that's kind of still like the first, we put it out there. We put it in the media and said, hey, we was confused a little bit. It was some miscommunication. When a coach or a staff hear that, they still back there second guessing themselves. Let's throw it up there at them. Let's see if they're gonna, how most DBs do, panic and give us those yarders if we don't come up with the ball, ourselves. So that's the type of stuff that bothers me or worries me when I'm watching us play, because I'm like, you can be lost and they can just not catch the pass, but we can't panic in them situations and pull on a guy and get flagged for it.
The first signal of depression is not being shaved. And when I watched,
Not being shaved.
did you see Daniel Jones?
I didn't see him. Was he not
He
shaved?
got a beard. He looked like he ain't shaved.
And watch him gonna be shaved.
Maybe right
That
here.
damn Fred wrong.
The first sign of depression is unshaved, unkept man. All right, if Daniel Jones show up and he clean shaved, I'm scared.
He heard you.
yeah, he heard what I said.
So that's. I'm glad you brought that up, Tana. That's great analysis by Fred, as always.
Yeah.
Watch out for the beard.
Yeah,
Bet the house on it. No, what I was going to say is what I would expect this week from Brian Daboll is that them to get in a lot of bunches, them to motion to bunches, them to shift to bunches,
Yeah.
and see if we got it figured out.
Yep.
Because that's what every team's going to do. You're going to say they had a hard time
Until
with
you show you can defeat it.
They had a hard time with short motions and bunches.
Yep.
They had a hard time with traps and whams last week, right in the run game, like pulling. Did they get it fixed? Because we can run those. We have those in the offense.
Yeah, most definitely.
Let's see what it looks like. So I think that's a great point by Tana. Like, Brian Daboll's a smart dude.
Yeah.
He took that offense with 0 playmakers to the playoffs, basically running keepers every single play.
Goddamn Jones
And
paid.
won a game
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
See, that's when you probably like, you know what, we probably should have started off slow that year. Because a lot of things, it was fool's gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fool's gold. You end up paying Daniel Jones after that year.
That's
Like, I don't know how much good came out of that year.
Yeah.
How about, so can we talk about this real quick? I'm sorry to cut you
Please
off,
do.
Tana.
Do it.
The Daniel Jones versus Saquon Barkley decision.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
And I know it's week one. So I'm not trying to overreact, but I feel like they really did not
They
understand.
stumped their toe.
Yeah, what Saquon did for the team.
They understood.
They knew.
No way, they wouldn't do that then.
They were just hoping that everything that applied to all the other running backs applied to
To him.
him, and he was
It
the
don't-
one.
it don't.
He was the one exception, you
Yes.
know, or the two because
Yeah,
there's two of them.
McCaffrey.
You
Well,
got
it's
McCaffrey,
McCaffrey.
But it's the same thing.
And
That's how the
Derrick Henry.
49ers
Yeah.
got McCaffrey.
Yeah.
The same way from
Yeah.
the Panthers.
So-
you don't think I'm all that? Well, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do a great job by Kyle.
I was happy that they didn't keep him, and then I'm like, well, damn, you kept him out of our division.
You just sent them to. What did you do?
You want to face him twice?
Yeah, like come on, man.
That's
You
ludicrous.
made a Philadelphia offense almost unguardable.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude.
what can you do to? First
Think
of all,
about the matchups. Think about the matchups he's going to draw every week. You cannot put a good coverage player on him
You
because,
can't.
and he's just going to draw like a linebacker.
linebacker. Thank you. And think about this. Here go to Columbus. I mean, here go the problem for defenses.
What were you going to say? Conundrum?
Yeah, it was. It didn't come out right. Check this out. Here it go right here.
You know him too much.
I have a quarterback that's a thrower and a runner. Problem one. I have a running back that's a runner and a catcher.
Talking about Philly now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Problem two.
We're not talking about New York. I don't think.
No. We're talking about Philly. All right, that's problem two. So that's the one up that Philly got on the 49ers. Purdy can't run like Jalen. I mean, like Hurts can.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We got to play cover 2 the whole game. That's all we can play. Cover 2 and cover 4.
And that's the addition of a player. Like I think back, he was the explosive element of their offense. And I think you're hoping Malik Neighbors is that guy. The problem is, like Fred said, you're relying on Daniel Jones to throw him the football.
Thank you.
And he has not, again, I've been a Daniel Jones supporter at times.
Me too. I have.
I think he can play football, but right now, after week 1 and after this offseason, I don't.
Lewis's ass.
He looks not good.
His last name is Jones. I can't believe in it. First
right.
name Daniel. Last name Jones. Daniel Jones, stand up. 33 people gonna stand up. It's his eye.
That'd be a sick rapper name, though.
It's his eye.
They cut it out.
So, what final thoughts on the offense for the Giants? And let's talk about the Commanders' defense.
Yeah.
If you're the Commanders' defense, what are you doing to make sure that Daniel Jones does not get hot? What is the first note on the game plan? Stop the run?
I'm going to set him on fire.
Yeah.
Blitz him?
I'm going to blitz him from the time the first whistle to the end. I want him dirty.
Yeah.
I want his jersey hitting the dirt in Fed Field.
Because he does hold the ball.
He holds the ball.
I say he holds it, but he also blitzing them, and that's what we did a few times, and he got out that pocket. So I would make him read the defense. I would send a number that we can and drop everybody.
You want him to go through his progressions?
I want to go through the progressions. Yeah, I want to see the arm. I want to see him throw the ball. Which, I don't want to say but I feel like if I like our chances with the guys that we have, even though what I saw last week wasn't promising from week 1, but I like our chances. I don't like to see us in man all the time, but I do like our chances against some of their best against our best, and then let's see if our guys up front could get to them.
Yeah, because I think the one thing about Tampa Bay that stood out to me is the receivers and the playmakers there are good.
They was.
And when you watch,
they was elite.
when you watch the Giants, they're fine. They're NFL talent. I think Malik Neighbors could be special, and we just talked about Robinson when we think of him. They're not the same level of.
They're not the caliber of what we just played.
Yes, and so I actually I was pretty impressed with St. Juice. Like he was physical with Mike Evans.
He battled with
We've been
this guy.
asking him to put his hands on people.
No, he battled with this guy, but guess what? Tampa Bay got a tall receiver, and they got a guy that works the slot masterfully. Yeah. We ain't got that this week.
And they drafted that guy in the third round.
That rookie kid, boy, he
come out running.
He gonna be something.
Yeah, he come out running.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think the matchups are better. I think the pressure thing's good because that's the one thing I thought Joe Wood Jr. and the defensive line in general, the front, did a good job creating pressure. You got to finish those.
I need more A-gap pressure though. The shortest route to the quarterback is A-gap pressure. Yeah. That's what made the Rams win them Super Bowl. When you got a D tackle that's dominant, all right, he poses a bigger threat to me than an edge rusher.
Yeah.
If you got somebody that dominates that A and that B gap, he can make between Payne and Allen. I need them to make it hard on Daniels.
It sure was a good sighting too, though, seeing that you had a linebacker that was just stopping stuff. Like when Bobby was in range to make a tackle, and he was making that tackle. Like he showed up in the backfield a few times, and I'm like, we haven't seen that in a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we haven't had good linebacker play. That's the truth.
Yeah, but so I think we're going to see a little bit of pressure. Yeah. We'll see a little bit of coverage. The important thing is keep him unsettled.
Yeah.
Don't let them get in a rhythm offensively.
Yep.
Stop the run when you got to stop it, and then play coverage when you got to play coverage. And I think it's a good opportunity for the defense to get back on track.
Yeah. And we need that home field advantage.
Yeah, home field.
We need that home field advantage to show itself this week.
Yep. And so let's talk about their defense. So they have a new defensive coordinator, the guy from Tennessee. I forget his name at the moment, but I'll remember when we start talking here. I'll look it up. They are way more simple than they were last year. It's a lot more cover 2. We're in quarters. We're off. We're not blitzing the same way.
House, huh?
They are in an odd structure, those 3D linemen and the 4 linebackers.
Yeah.
But it's way more straightforward than it used to be. And I think that's something that, again, with Jaden, coming into a fastball, first week, this is much different. So I think there's a great opportunity, and Shane Bowen is the defensive coordinator.
Okay. Yeah, but when you got Lawrence and you got Burns and you got Thibodeau, these are guys that can beat one-on-ones.
Yeah.
They can win one-on-one. Yeah. So I think what you got to do is beat them horizontally and make these guys run side to side, especially Lawrence, to tire him out. So a lot of screens, a lot of draws.
A lot of RPOs. You just want to hesitate every now and then.
I want them to think. Yeah. I don't want them to rush. Yeah. I want them to either be tired. I want them to overthink situations. But I'm just saying, when it comes to just straight up defensive line, I think they got one of the better defensive lines.
Or we can just run at them too. I mean, we can probably oppose our will a little bit differently this week because of what they present to us defensively. Yeah, these guys want to get upfield and get after the quarterback. Do they want to tackle? Do they want to tackle a B-Rob all the time coming at them? Do they want to tackle or have to worry about, is this guy going to pull it or not? So I think, you can play a little some games play some games with them and kind of show more of a run game out the gate against these guys.
Yeah, and I think, Dexter Lawrence is an absolute unit.
No, we know
he's a beast.
Special football player.
We had to see him too many times.
When you look at the film, he's creating pressure. He's winning one-on-ones. He's great against the run. Not as maybe physically dominant as people would think given his size, but he's a good run player. And then they have their 4 eyes, are 2 sawed-off little dudes that are physical. So the running for Minnesota was tough, but they were able to create some gashes. Yeah, I think Thibodeau's a little overrated personally.
Yeah.
He
run at Thibodeau.
He likes to get. He's the one you got to run at.
He like to pass. He like to pass rush.
Yeah.
He ain't really part of that run game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think Burns I think he's got a big name.
Yeah.
I think he's very physically gifted, but I don't think he's ever developed the way that people think. I think people hear that and they say, oh. So I do think there is an opportunity because you're going to know where, unlike last week, you're going to know where everyone's coming from.
Yeah.
You're going to know where those blitzers are coming from. So, and versus these soft coverages, Jane Daniels in the preseason has shown an ability to complete the football and be patient. So I think if he's not unsettled in the pocket, he's not rushing like we saw him rush a little bit last week, I think this is a good get-right game for him.
I think this is an outside receiver game also.
Yeah.
Besides Banks, cornerback-wise, they lost, they saved McKinney. I think this is an outside wide receiver game. This is a Terry game, outside the numbers.
Get our guys going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, they're starting a rookie middle linebacker from UCLA, Darius Masuas from UCLA.
Did you get that correct?
I don't know if I did or not.
All right.
But it's Mawasau. Mawasau is
See,
what I'm going.
that's a football name.
Mawasau.
Not Jones. Mawasau.
Yeah.
That's a football name.
UCLA guy.
Yeah.
So you know he's a good football player.
Not really.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I'm going to say something.
Hawaiian?
He's Polynesian.
Best UCLA player is Maurice Jones-Drew, maybe.
Well, Mercedes Lewis is still playing football, and he's
That Mercedes
40.
Lewis has been playing for decades.
Yeah, literally decades.
No, 2 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2
He's
decades.
40 years old.
He's 40.
Probably ain't caught a pass in at least 6
He
years.
did last year, man. He caught a lot of he had some touchdowns last year.
Man,
I watched it.
But I bring up the rookie linebacker because that's a good matchup for the running game.
Yeah.
If you can kind of give him some different looks, take advantage.
Stick Eckler on him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great matchup. Bobby Okereke is an excellent football player.
Okereke tore us up last year.
Yeah, I love him as a
very
football
well.
player. Big, strong dude.
Yeah.
Instinctive, fast to the ball. But outside, I like you brought up Banks. Good player, but I think
player.
Terry has shown an ability to win that one-on-one. And I don't know. It just feels like a good opportunity to get right. I'm not saying they're going to.
No, a good spot. This is a good spot to be playing the Giants. I'm just saying.
And at home. So
Yeah.
I care less what they got. You at home.
Yeah.
Show out.
Yeah.
And again, I think the simplicity is going to be really helpful. I think the less pressure on defense that they're going to bring is going to be helpful. It's not going to be like it was last year, which is exciting and encouraging. All right, so that's going to lead us to our last segment, which is Hell Yeah or
Hell no.
Hell no to the no. Hell to no.
oh yeah, dude, they're great. That's why producer Jason's the best.
What'd he do?
Because you know who else went to UCLA?
Troy Aikman.
And who else?
Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah, beasts. Both of them beasts.
Deshaun Foster.
Yeah, but those guys are in a different.
I know. I love Deshaun Foster.
Deshaun Foster's beast,
He's one of my favorite running backs.
He was that dude back then.
Talk about maybe one of the best offensive linemen in the history of the NFL.
J.O., listen, I played against him.
Yeah?
And it's 2 guys that I was like, you know what? Because Bruce Smith used to always tell me, there's a couple of these guys, they play offense, but they play it defensively.
Is that how he talks?
They're going to attack you.
He always
I was
get that Bruce
who
Smith
you
voice,
talking about? He like Larry Allen. He like, watch this week, Smooth. Half of the D-line going to have the Larry Allen flu. I like, for what? He like, come on here and watch this film. By the time I watched that film, I'm like, oh, my God, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Throwing you out the club,
and it was Larry Allen and J.O.
Yeah.
Jonathan Ogden. Oh, man, they was attacking people.
Yeah, so good UCLA football players. All right, let's do Hell Yeah, Hell No. All right, here we go. Jaden Daniels will get 250 total yards.
Okay, that's almost.
Hell
I can see him go for
yeah.
180 pass. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I think so too.
Hell yeah.
And it's for a lot of the reasons I just said. I think he's going to throw the ball way better this week.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're going to protect him way better. It's simpler.
Yeah.
The coverage structures are simpler. Their whole philosophy is bend but don't break. So, like, I think about Austin Eckler. I think about Zach Ertz underneath on some of those linebackers. Think about Terry on some crossing routes,
I can
right?
see the Eckler with a screen taking it 45 yards.
Yeah, like I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for them to be super successful in that. You guys have any thoughts on why?
Just seeing what I saw last week, a sample size of what I saw last week, man. We was heavy in getting the tight end acclimated into the game.
Yep.
We got our running backs acclimated into the game. The only guys who we didn't get really involved
Outside
is the
guys.
guys on the outside.
Yep.
So this week we include them.
Force feed them.
All that stuff is going to go up dramatically. You know
Force
what I mean?
feed
So,
them.
yeah, we'll be all right.
Yep.
All right, Terry will get 8 receptions.
Hell yeah. After not getting nothing in the first game.
Yeah.
This is an outside game. And if you're going to throw it outside, it's probably going to be the Terry. I'm just sorry. You got to give him 12 attempts this game.
Yeah.
If you don't, it just won't sit well.
Please the star. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if he'll have 8, but I think he'll have like 100. I think he'll have 100 yards receiving. Just like because I think like the shots that Cliff had for him.
Yeah.
If you hit 2 of those,
it's a wrap.
he's easily over 100.
And Terry's one of those guys too, man. If you watch those guys come off the field last week, because I've been in his shoes too many times.
Yeah.
Never seen a guy that just was saying. It was encouraging just to look at him and the way he was like, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, B. Mitchell saying, hold your head up, guys. And Terry's like, look, we good.
Yeah.
Because I'd been walking up, my face would have been frowned up. I probably been in there so early you wouldn't even saw me come in because I'd have left as soon as the thing said 0-0. I'd already been inside. But he's just one of those guys, man. He's a light. He shines a light on every dog moment. So I think he's gonna have a good one.
I say 5 catches by halftime.
By halftime.
By half.
I mean, that's not a bad, because I definitely could see a world where Cliff says we're going to get him touches.
We're gonna quick.
Screens,
Early and
bubbles,
often.
Get 'em
slants, hitches.
Get 'em going.
Early and often.
Earn that stuff down the field. Yeah, I
Hell yeah.
definitely see that happen.
Hell yeah.
I think it'll be more productive this game.
Yeah.
Again, this is a much easier, much more straightforward matchup defensively for Jaden. And if Jaden's comfortable, I think Terry gets comfortable too.
Yeah.
All right. The defense will have 2 turnovers.
I got 2 words for you. Daniel Jones. All right? Hell yeah. That's where I'm at right
That's
now.
what I want. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at.
I agree.
At least 1 fumble.
Yeah.
He gonna fumble the ball.
Yeah.
At least 1 interception.
Yeah, he did not protect the football well.
don't
He's not.
toss it up.
He's not protected the football well, and I think that the pressure that Joe Witt's going to bring is going to disrupt him. He's going to put the ball up for grabs, and I don't know. It was cool. Like going through the film, like there was a couple opportunities where guys are thinking about the ball, like Deron Payne coming out the stack, punched up. You could say it's a point of emphasis, and I think it's one of those things where the dam's just going to break.
It's gonna come. It's gonna happen.
The bearded
Eventually.
Daniel Jones will show himself.
Toss it up, baby.
Toss it up.
Let me see you toss it
All right.
up.
Danny Dimes will throw for 3 touchdowns.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
No.
No,
Never again.
never. He's done.
Everything he done to us, we done already done to you.
Have you seen the statistic that he has not thrown for more than
He haven't threw
once?
3 picks. I mean, he haven't threw 3 touchdowns yet, but he has way more pick sixes since
Have you seen
signed
that?
the new deal.
There's some like, but it was like in the last 20 starts.
Yeah.
He got like 6 pick sixes.
No, it's like he's not thrown for more than. It's like in the last 20 starts, he's not thrown for more than like 10 touchdowns or something like that. He's having a tough.
All I noticed that said since he's got signed, since he signed that deal, he threw more pick sixes than touchdowns.
Yeah, so it's even. I guess what I'm
Have
saying.
mercy.
It's even more comprehensively bad than that.
Lord, have mercy.
So I don't know. This just feels like a good
We
opportunity.
can't let him get going on us.
Oh my! We always say that. Stop. Get all them words out your
Yeah.
mouth. All
I'm
the
just
stuff
saying, we cannot.
all the stuff we said before, we ain't saying today.
I'm just going to remind everybody of this. That is an NFL football team with NFL coaches on an NFL roster.
Yeah.
They're going to come out with some absolutely bonkers stuff offensively.
Yeah.
Like if Brian Daboll is who he says he is, like they're not going to go down without a fight.
No, they're gonna be fighting.
They're gonna be zacking and
I
zipping.
think we
and
just need to show Daniel Jones you are Daniel
Liz,
Jones.
bunch,
That's it.
Zach, zip, all you name it. Every type of formation you ever had on the offense, they gonna come out with it.
Jason, you got something? Oh, you guys writing it down. Let's see. It's exciting.
Funky.
2 touchdowns,
3
three
pick
pick sixes,
3 pick sixes.
since he signed the deal.
Since the money.
Dude, could you?
Money,
if
money,
you're-
money, money.
After seeing that clip and you're the GM, you're like, yeah, we're going to pay the quarterback. We're going to let the running back walk.
No, this what the GM said. We need to see kind of $40 million quarterback play. If you don't know before you pay him $40 million,
There's no way in hell I'm paying him before I pay
here go the
Saquon.
bad part. Daniel Jones had to watch the Giants front office say, you know what, we finna go get this Jaden Daniels. Only they had to play him this week. So you knew your front office wanted him,
Yeah, exactly.
not you.
Yeah.
I want more depression.
How was they gonna do that though? What were they gonna do? They was gonna trade him?
No, who want him?
I was gonna say who want
The
that?
UFL? I don't know.
Okay, we got. This is what happens.
You
You
ain't
get
nothing,
all
bro.
juiced up,
I know,
and then he comes out and we got it.
So you saying I'm the curse of Daniel Jones?
Hey. That's an NFL team. Those are NFL coaches.
Listen,
I'm with you.
They're gonna come with something.
I saw this Smoot. before. It was the week of him and Steve Smith. Smoot was talking the same kind of smack. I saw it. It's written on the wall.
What happened? I don't know what happened.
Leave it alone.
Steve Smith got me one game.
I saw it.
But people don't like to talk about our other 8 meetings.
Oh, no, I want to talk about this one.
All right, this is what happened.
Steve Smoot talked smack to the man, and the man went out there. And
No, me and Steve didn't had this thing going since all this came out.
Yeah.
All right,
Oregon
me,
State?
Steve, and Chad. He in our class.
We all the same.
Me and Chad Johnson. So Chad had his little list of DBs he can't wait to burn. Took care of him. So I was like, "No, Steve, you next." Man, they targeted me like 15 times.
That boy rowing the boat in the end zone. What had us go?
They got me off of sheer tiredness. That's what I tell you. That's why I tell corners, watch what you say, because sometimes you can be better than a guy.
Yeah.
But if they gonna target you that many times,
Hey, Steve.
What was how many yards?
Steve?
it got me for about 190. They wasn't all on me. They wasn't all on me. I had them most of the time, but they wasn't all on me.
190 though.
They wasn't all on me.
That's like more yards than I have receiving in my whole career.
Yeah, man.
Let me see. Is that the most?
He had 2 games against Smoot one
Yeah,
game.
that was by far the worst game I ever played in my career.
And you were talking mess before?
And after.
Just
he didn't stop talking shit.
unfazed?
No, I left the game with a cracked collarbone. It got rough out there, man.
He did that to you?
He didn't do it. The running back.
Oh. Who's the running back? This was a rough game for you.
they had
No,
some-
who
they
was
had
the
some
running back?
backs then.
That's when they had the 2 running backs.
Jonathan Stewart?
Jonathan Stewart.
Dude, that dude was a
That dude was
load.
something else.
Yeah, Jonathan Stewart ran me over.
Well, that's
cracked my shoulder.
So yeah, that's why we're gonna give the offense some respect. We're gonna give the defense some
I'm
respect.
glad y'all had to down me to bring up Daniel Jones.
We had to lift.
Yeah.
lift-
So
lift-
just we think
lift
it's a better
discussion up a little
matchup.
bit.
We think it's a better matchup, but it's still an NFL roster.
We know you could take it, Fred. You know you don't care.
I'm fine. I'm
You don't
fine.
want to have feelings. You always say,
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
ain't got no
It's a nice
feelings.
jacket, by the way, Fred.
Well, thank you.
I ain't got no
Way
feelings.
to build me up after tearing me down.
All right, so that's gonna do it for today's show.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, and please make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. All right,
People's nominee.
that's it.